All right, we're going to continue with this agenda because we got a lot of stuff on here. Come on, come on. Yes. We got 24 things to talk about. You got extras, I'll take them too. I have stuff here. Yeah, so fine. Yes. Leave them right here. Okay. All right. All right, number 2, we're going to go right to the Dollar Tree discussion. Review and approval for Dollar Tree sign variances at 12625 Western Avenue. This is the former Walgreens location. Dollar Tree is looking to open up at the old Walgreens, and they're looking for a sign ordinance. So, Howard.
Let me come over here so we can share.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, close.
I'll pass it.
Do the presentation.
Okay. Good evening, all. Glad to be here. As Mr. Bilotto did say, that Dollar Tree's trying to go in on the Western Avenue location. This particular location is the lease space for the square footage is 13,423 square feet, which in most malls would either make them the anchor tenant or the junior anchor tenant at their location, and many malls that would allow them an additional signage due to the draw that they bring in and the size of the store. At this particular location, basically the code that reads code 1.01.14B1 is 1 square foot per lineal storefront up to 40 square feet. Article number 7 says 80% of the sign band or 18 inches letter height, whichever is less. The sign band is 95 inches tall, so we have to go with the signage that goes down to 18 inches. With the Dollar Tree's font, which is their brand, to come within the 18-inch letters, that puts them in at 24.13 square feet, which is substantially less than the 40 square feet, but also substantially less for the size of the building that is they're going to be occupying. To give you an example of what that may be, your front door of your house is 7 foot by 3 foot, that's 21 square feet. So they get a size of a door for a sign. I did do a drive-by at this location. I believe, and I may have my directions incorrect, but due to the concrete islands in between the lanes, you only have access coming north on Western Avenue and east on 127th. So I had to go down there. I had to go down, take a left on Western Avenue, go down to the gas station, do a U-turn, come back over just to get into the parking lot. So, and coupled with all of that, there's a lot of vegetation, landscaping with large trees. So what that does is it obscures the vision, makes it hard to get in there, and this is a very large property and is looking for some relief due to this square footage and the letter height. The building length is 99 feet, 9 5/8 inches by 134 feet, 6 inches. The square footage alone, if you just did 1-to-1, will cover just about the square footage of what that sign is if it was just a straight 1-to-1 for that location.
I think you're good right now. You're just the sign company, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I do have some drawings of what an 18-inch letter would look like on this.
All right, everybody seen this?
Yeah, we have.
All right, I just want to make a statement, just like I did earlier, not to you at all.
That's all right.
There's a lot of issues with the property that we need to address, which the property owner, before we give occupancy.
Yes.
However, the sign, how's the committee feel?
I'm not opposed.
I'm not opposed.
Just like
Okay.
any other Dollar Tree.
Sounds good to me. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Cazares,
Second.
second by Cantelo. Any opposition? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Mark Miller.
What number are we on?
Number
Good
3.
evening, how are you?
Still on 3?
Yep, 3 now.
Yeah, we're in number 3. I went through all these, I have a group of items that went through finance the other night. I wanted to bring them up here as well. Number 3 is request for authorization of a sale, 12751 Lincoln Street. That was an abandoned property. I don't know if you got a chance to look at your paperwork. So,
Yeah, 127, 51 Lincoln, I think has been abandoned for several years. I think it's a 2-flat on the east side.
correct.
Yeah,
Well, we talked about that before.
yeah, it's
We
been,
already,
Yeah,
we already
discussed it,
approved.
right?
Yeah,
I believe we approved one of these, or both, already through
You
the
approved
committee.
them, but we didn't have the contract.
Okay.
So, and
We
finance
talked about
approved
it.
both of these already Monday night, too.
Yeah.
So,
So we would have that and the exact same thing at 2427 West 127th Street.
okay. Are there any questions?
no,
Is there a motion?
motion.
Motion by Cazares, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alexander. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do I abstain?
Any abstentions?
Yeah.
Okay, 1.
Yeah.
All right,
Abstain.
motion carries.
Okay. I do have a request for purchase on 13747 Western, which is the old Monarch building. I don't know a lot of background information on the gentleman. He did give me a request for purchase. I'm going to do a little due diligence on him, but that also went through finance to move forward.
All right, do you need a motion on that one tonight?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, I'll make a motion on that.
Second.
On the question, is this the one that I called you on, that I had a tip about some issues in other towns or
No,
something?
that
It's
one's
different.
gone.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
for the one at 137, motion by Bilotto, second by Alexander. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And also what was approved at finance this past Monday was the authority to demolish 4 homes on 3 parcels, abandoned properties.
Yep.
We'll pay for them and then get reimbursed by May through the abandoned property program. So I just need,
All right, we got a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Cantelo, is there a second?
Second.
Cazares, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
okay.
All right. What else
Next,
we got?
MWRD.
Yep.
We are doing we're pulling 2 parcels that we lease from MWRD. One of them is to serve the BIOS farm. The other parcel is as far west as we lease by the mobile home park and Robbins, basically. They have water issues over there, so we're going to take this out of our parcel so they can access that and put in plumbing, piping, whatever they have to do to get rid of their flooding problem. So,
All right, so this is BIOS Farm.
what, the BIOS farm?
It's part of this lease, yes.
BIOS farm is part of the lease, and so is that last parcel by Clear Boulevard.
All right. Is there a
Are
motion?
they contingent on each other?
Motion.
Are those 2 leases, this agreement?
No, but I just wanted both to be on the same one.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Cantelo, is there a second? I'll second.
Okay.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries.
Next, I have an
IGA.
agreement from the land bank.
Yep.
We can go into agreement to give abandoned properties over to the land bank. They'll do all the legwork, they'll do all the expunging of taxes, make those properties presentable so we can put them up for sale or lease and get them back on the tax rolls.
Yep, again, this went through finance too, I think.
This
right?
went through finance. All these went through finance.
All right, so I'll make a motion on this. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alexander. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries.
And my last item that also went through finance is a Class 8 request for 13550 and 13551 Chatham. They're both vacant commercial properties, industrial properties.
This was discussed too, didn't we?
Yep.
Yes.
So this was the last item on the
Yeah.
agenda.
I think
Deja
he
vu.
came to our meeting last time. It was a finance he came to. I don't remember,
Finance.
somewhere.
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion on this. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That is all for me.
Thank you, Mark.
Good job.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else other than the solar? I know Ophelia's here. Solar. What are you here for?
Sarah?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm just here to observe.
I don't like that.
You can join us. Pretend you're an alternate.
That's
Pretend you're an
right.
alternate
Like
again.
tags.
Yeah, we can trace facts.
All right, solar panel number 1, solar panel number 2. Solar panel number 1 is you. Yeah, I have 2 solar companies. I want to give a short, brief presentation, and then we'll probably request more information from them after the brief presentation. So go ahead.
Okay, my name is Leticia. I have been here and for 30 years in Blue Island, which this is my hometown, and I have 3 daughters that comes here. What I want to bring is solar to the community, and not only to homeowners, but also for schools. This is also for that I would like the opportunity to bring renewable energy to the whole town, which is going to help us also for opportunity for jobs, and also for help reduce our light for the homeowners, and also the benefits for schools too. I was gonna bring my manager was gonna come with me. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. But if you need more information, I will be gladly bring it. The other thing is that I went to the district and 1:30. What I wanted to do is send information, and it's not like I'm gonna put District 130 like if something goes wrong, go against them. That's not my point. My point is to reach over, to pass flyers and to give workshops for homeowners to so they can see what is renewable energy. Some people, they have mislead or have wrong information that they brought already to them. Other people are coming to our town, people from other states, they're coming because this is the opportunity right now, right here in Illinois. And I don't want them to bring from other states the wrong information for my town, because I live here. And if I'm doing it for the whole community. I want Blue Island to become the first community renewable energy. And it's gonna bring work for our community, and it's gonna benefit us. And I'm sorry for my English.
I apologize.
And I want Blue Island to grow, not only with the green stuff we were here before, but the green renewable energy. That's what if you need more information, I'd be gladly to bring it.
I'm going to put you in touch with Sarah Brown from the Chamber of Commerce, who's here too. Talk to her before you leave, as a
Thank
Blue
you.
Island resident.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2.
Hi there, Paul Keeler, Retrofit US. Technically, I'm a competitor to Sunrun, but Letty has so impressed me, and they have done my friend's home. They do an excellent job with residential. Very quickly, I'm a green building consultant, and we do work for a number of communities, for-profit, nonprofit, public sector. So we can't help all of the issues, but we can help minimize energy waste, reduce expenses for the community. We do off-grid solar systems. We do LED upgrade. We do air sterilization. We were consultants before to a number of hospitals in the area as well. So I have a nice little presentation. I won't take the time to show. I'll send a PDF and share with that. But if there's a particular property, there's also an excellent program for first responders right now in Illinois, and the deadline's coming up. All these deadline to apply. We're happy to help with that as well. These are things communities can do for little or no money out of their pocket. reduce energy loss and energy waste, and at the same time do upgrades of, upgrading to LED occupancy sensors, all these things. I know every community's done some of that, but it's an opportunity to do more. So there's my short version.
Email
So,
me whatever you got.
I sure
send
will.
it to the rest of the council.
Good deal. Thank you.
Make sure you get one of these. Thank you. He's not going to do a presentation. he said.
Not tonight, no.
Here, thank you.
All right. Ophelia,
That's me.
you're next. I'm jumping around all over the place here.
Yes, you are.
You want to pull up a chair? Make yourself at home. Bring your stuff. Alderman Mike Mech had an emergency. He had to leave the meeting. We still have a quorum.
Where do you want us?
You can pull right up here.
Just pull a chair
Sure,
up here?
pull it up.
One of these chairs?
Okay.
Anywhere over here. I missed that room in the back there. It's so much more easier to talk to people. Right here, it's fine.
Yeah, this is
Fine.
better. Nice and comfortable.
Yeah. Sandino. Mr. Sandino, you want to join us?
No, he's over here.
Wherever you want to stay.
All right. First, we don't have it back yet, right?
No,
Is that-
I spoke with Eric Alvarez. Hello? Okay. So I spoke with Eric Alvarez today. We both had a conversation. It might be another 2 weeks before the parking plan is done. I've been speaking with Kelly, who represents the firm. Last week, we were exchanging information, so they're still working on it.
All right.
You know what's taking so long?
They're just doing their due diligence.
So I have a letter here from Ophelia Banquets, Miss Ophelia Evans. Alex Leifman and I were instructed by Howard Capardi to provide you with a letter as a formal request to approve no less than 40 parking spaces needed for my use in Ophelia Banquets, Entertainment, and Conference Center. I understand that a formal parking study has been approved and has also been completed at the time of this letter. We're asking that you would be so kind to notify us of the determination so we can provide a text amendment necessary for the zoning approval. Although we understand, according to Howard, that the city may or may not seek certain compensation for the parking that it is willing to dedicate for our use, that compensation needs to be fair and apply to all businesses equally present and future. We hope that you can communicate your support and approval in a short order, as we wish to commence with construction as the cold weather breaks. It's been 2 years now. So, those are our new members. Miss Ophelia's been coming to us prior to some of you, all of you being on here, all right?
So,
We want this to resolve. I think the whole committee wants this to resolve.
so
We need to get this resolved.
So the situation is this, first of all, they have to apply for a text amendment to allow for a banquet hall as a special use. Once that gets amended, the text amendment for both the UTOD and the regular zoning, then they have to apply for a special use to allow for this. It has to go through planning, zoning, community development, city council, and also a parking variance. The party here has a question about the leasing of the parking spots, and I can't answer that in a financial manner. Neither can I do a lease agreement on behalf of the city because it's just not my jurisdiction. So I've recommended both of them to issue a letter to start the process on how the city is going to look at providing for this property at least 40 parking spaces to start the conversation.
Oh, we weren't looking for leasing. That's not what we were, that's not what we.
Do you want to purchase the parking?
No, it was neither that. We knew that the parking was not, purchase the parking lot was, according to Fred and everybody, it was both down. Maybe you want to say something.
I think we went through a lot of these gyrations and various things. So we started with originally putting the plans together.
Right.
The original plan for the property went in 2008. This is when I wanted to rehab. So it's been 11 years since we tried to rehab the property. And that has created a white box. So we were able to attract them. We weren't able to do it at that point in time. Then when Ophelia came in, there was an opportunity again because now we knew the use. So at that time, I was just creating a white box to attract the tenant where the building was dilapidated. When she came in, we spent time forming plans, as we were told by Mr. Miller that this is all going to go through and everything was going to be okay. We spent a year formulating plans, submitting the plans, getting the plans looked at, reviewed, and then resubmitting the corrections. At which point, our joint and assumed the responsibility that supposedly nobody had at that point in the city, and gave us a list of things we had to go through, which we thought was unfair because nobody else prior to us or at the time had to go through, including the business across the street where Felix tried to. We understand the requirement, so we tried to comply. We went through historical, we worked out our differences in historical, we did some changes to the facade, all that kind of stuff. And then the parking situation arose. The idea was that the parking was going to get evaluated, and we were going to give an option to purchase the parking lot. The parking was appraised, and it was appraised $140,000. We offered to purchase the parking lot. The city then denied us that opportunity, saying that they don't want to sell the parking lot. We understood that, and then the next option was to figure out how much parking can we use in the back, since everybody else has free use of the parking lot. Ophelia had a concern why she would be the one paying for parking while everybody else would have the parking for free, and that was not addressed. So we thought, well, if everybody is going to, if it's going to be a paid parking for everybody, then that's fine. We would like to know how much it would be, and she would make a business decision as to proceed with her lease and what the cost would be of doing that parking. So that issue remained unanswered to this date because we don't know what the amount, like how it expressed, what amount the city wants to charge. All we ask is that it would be fair to everybody, since everybody's going to be using parking. It would be unfair for clients of Ophelia's banquet halls to be paying for parking while everybody else is getting it for free. So that was one issue. The text amendment and everything else, we agreed to do that, but in order for us to expand funds to hire attorneys and do that, we want to know and have the parking issue resolved. The city agreed to do a parking study, which we waited for, I think, 4 or 5 months by now. And I know I've done many parking studies. I've done traffic studies. They do not take that long. Okay? It's unfortunate that we wanted to do this for years now. And this is where we are now. And now we have to wait another 2 weeks. I'm here because I thought that this was resolved. We were under the impression that the results of the parking study were.
They don't need information from us.
So here's where we are now. We're trying to, we've heard all these people trying to improve Blue Island. We're actually trying to improve Blue Island with zero risk. We're not selling cannabis, we're not doing anything. We're just trying to build a building, bring a worthy tenant that's going to be an asset to Blue Island. We're not able to do that for years now. That's it.
The next one.
So I'd like to interject. The Blue Island Medical Clinic, they lease the parking lot for that clinic, and they pay the city a monthly fee. So it isn't that this is new. It's already been introduced with one tenant, and this would be tenant number 2. The parking study took a while because we had to go through the requisition process, and we had to go for a request for proposal, and I had to meet all the city requirements. I even have the treasurer right there who looks at the money issue of the parking study. So everything had to be properly reviewed and approved before the study could be done. So that's why it took 4 or 5 months. I offered you guys to do the parking study 2 years ago before Christmas of 2019 or 18 at this point. I've lost track. The parking study, and you chose not to do it. And then you waited for half a year to come to the summertime to speak about the parking study.
If I may interject.
All right, so I'm not going to get into this. We want you here. We're going to figure this out. What does the committee want to do? We have the history with Cook County Health that we leased the parking lot. Little different circumstances for there. What does the committee want to do?
We want them here.
Cook County Health is further north
Yeah,
on Western.
near 127.
Ophelia Banquet is right here by the
Vermont.
post office,
Right
right?
across the street.
So,
Right.
using the parking lot that the postal people,
Right, the post office, Eagles,
Right,
we use
they
for
all
city
use
council, so a lot of people are using that parking space, even Club Crave is using it. So the question is this, if they're gonna have their banquet functions, that parking lot is gonna be used for like maybe 2, 3, or 4 hours of usage where no other people could park. So that's the question. It's not that it's only one user that's using it, it's multiple users.
Like, I was at Eagles the other night. They had a big, huge party. They used it for
Right.
a couple hours.
But here's the thing, I see Howard's situation.
I understand, I know where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
It's first come, first serve
Right.
in that parking lot. I'm talking about just this parking lot, it's first come, first serve.
Mm-hmm.
So just as easily, her people aren't gonna be able to use the parking lot because there's cars there for Eagles or Crave or post office or city council. So,
But we do have, like, I talked to the school, the Montessori school, and also the church.
Yeah.
And so I've talked with them, and they're willing to work with me if we need it for overflow. They're willing to work with me on that.
so if they are,
Yes.
So how many spots are we short in terms of variance?
Well, the variance is for like 97 parking spots. They're offering 0 on site. 87 for the proposed plan that he has there, plus the upstairs, which was another 10 parking spaces.
But the upstairs was not an additional. because-
Right, but like I said, if the zoning board is going to look at the park and they're going to look at the entire building, plus the 2 units you have up there, plus the retail that you're proposing to do for probably a thrift store. Right. So parking has to be looked at in its entirety. It can't be just look at the banquet and forget about everything else. So if you're going for a variance, as the building owner, you should go for the whole building. And I've said this many times.
all right, so talk about Montessori school. If they start the variance and have an agreement to rent the space, how are your people going to use that parking? Are they just parking and walking, or are you valeting them?
We're valeting.
All right.
We'll
Would this be
spend the money
part
on
of
it.
the text amendment?
No, this sounds like a parking variance solution.
Yes. I think that's what I'm hearing. We split this 90-something in half, get an agreement to use the parking lot at First Lutheran, Montessori, apply for the text amendment. I don't foresee an issue with the other half at the city parking lot. I think we could send it for a variance.
Well,
Do
it's 3 things: text amendment, special use, and parking variance.
This parking situation, though, is what we're talking about right now.
Right.
Let's clean this up.
Right, but I just want to make it, notice to the public, it's 3 things, it's not 2. It's, first, you gotta change the text, you gotta allow for banquet halls. Second, you have to apply as a special use for a Phileas banquet, which also requires a parking variance. So during the special use, you could go with special use and parking at the same time, but you can't do all 3 at the same time.
All right, so we combine those things. How's the committee? Any suggestions here, or we'll go down the path of this half and half?
I like that solution is, on the horizon, but let me paint a scenario for you. The time of arrival of guests. If your guests are arriving at, let's say, 6 p.m. for a banquet party, and your guests take up how many spots are in that?
96.
96, where no other spots are needed. What happens to the rest of the businesses parking? And
People are going to start parking on the street, and they're most likely going to complain to their alderman because of the parking issue.
Yeah, because I love that you're willing. I love that you're willing to bus and valet your guests, but if they are no longer in need because they're arriving prior to the other businesses. I mean, basically, I'm painting this picture so we can come up with a solution to reserve some other spots for.
I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
we're not trying to take the whole parking lot.
Of course.
At no point in time did we say we're gonna take up all the spots. We're just looking to take up a maximum, I think, of 40 spots.
And I understand you'll do everything in your power to make that happen, but it's the guests
Or here's my
that will
question.
end up.
Are you gonna valet the parking lot? That parking lot, the city parking lot?
No,
No.
the one that's right behind the building,
Right.
because it's right.
So, like, what's gonna stop people from using all 96 spots?
That's my.
That's what he was saying.
I mean, unless
Yeah.
they're forced to
There's no
valet.
way,
You
there's
could
no
s-
way for me to know
Yeah.
what car is for Ophelia's, what car is for Crave's.
Right.
Post
But if
office,
they
City
valet and they only had
Well,
60 spots or whatever
Hall.
it
Valet
is.
all parking.
Yeah,
They control where the cars are parked.
right. That's what I'm saying. If they, I don't know if that would help, but if they offered to valet,
look, this
I don't know.
is a silly solution, but it might work. If you park in the Dollar Tree and George's Liquor in Marinette Park, they do have signs that say parking for so-and-so business after this time
Yeah.
only.
They do.
Because they have, what's that club bar?
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street.
Yeah,
And they
do
have that
signs.
option, and it's enforced by tow. I don't know how they,
I don't know how they do
I
it.
don't know how they do it.
But I do have it.
But they do have
There's
it.
several signs, too.
That is,
Might be something to
I don't know
look
that's a
into.
solution, but just like.
Do you know
Alderman
what he's
Cantelo
talking
said.
about?
I know the,
115th, I think it's.
oh, way down there?
115th.
No,
Bourbon.
just
They're
give me an
basically
example.
trying to share a common parking lot with a business
Just
that,
an example
that
they do.
has
Oh, I see.
a large amount of guests coming at later at night, because we do not expect, you do have a large traffic at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday. But on weekends where the other businesses will also have,
So like what the example he's
Increased
giving
business,
is
yeah.
Bourbon Street, which is a huge popular nightclub. They have, so it's Bourbon Street, they have a dollar store, they have a liquor store, they have a couple other little
couple
stores.
food locations.
And there's
and-
special signs that say, after, you can only park at the Dollar Tree or, after 9 o'clock, before 9 o'clock, or after 9 o'clock or something, right?
Essentially,
Are you asking us to provide the sign?
no,
No,
this
we're-
is
check it
everyone,
out, see,
I'm
maybe
staring
that's
at you when I
something-
talk, but I'm talking to the whole committee and their guests as well.
Maybe it's something that might
So,
work.
It's essentially reserving parking spots after a certain hour of the weekend. And at least guaranteeing you not necessarily you, but guaranteeing every of the businesses that share that lot, ideally a couple spots based on the variance.
Does that make sense? Do you understand
And
what
then
I'm
you
saying?
can, and based on that, you can still valet the remainder of your guests based on parking.
Do you know
and
where he's talking about?
expectations.
Like where?
Yeah. I mean,
Am I-
We'll be happy to put tickets on a windshield that she will issue inside for the 40 patrons. The thing is that she will know approximately how many patrons she's going to have. It's not like a retail store where you have one
Of
or
course.
two people coming in. She knows she's a party of, let's say, of 80 people. She'll know she's going to get, let's say, 40 cars or 50 cars. So she'll be ready for those kind of parties. And days that are slow, then the parking will be used. The question that was in front of us today was that there's always a dollar sign that's swinging, whether buying the parking lot, leasing the parking lot. So the question to you is that why do we have to pay for something everybody else is getting for free? Puts her in a disadvantage.
I don't think anyone here has required anyone here to
And that's what
pay.
Howard was.
I think that was just a suggestion.
I recall the Blue Island Medical Clinic is paying for
Oh,
that
I'm
parking. So
sorry.
now
I
we're
mean,
setting
it-
terrible
this-
precedent, because like we had before, people said, they were criticizing zoning was not enforcing parking for the cannabis. I'm enforcing it. It's being enforced. But the ordinance says during the zoning process, this has to be negotiated during the variance process, a lease agreement. If they're gonna be leasing, they're gonna probably be paying something to the city.
Okay.
If we are-
So their argument is, since no one else is paying, why should they pay? It's pretty obvious what they're going with
Yeah.
this.
This is one of those situations, no one's gonna be happy. We gotta figure out what that medium is when everybody's not happy. All right.
Well, I mean, usually, in the city, whenever you put up a building, then you're required to keep certain parking lots. This building existed like this, with no parking for God knows how many years.
Well, that's our problem.
Okay, so now at this hour, say, okay, you have this building, now you have to lease the parking lot. Well, everybody else should lease the tenants come and go, and you cannot just say, now they lease the parking, now they don't lease the parking lot. I mean, it's just, I don't think it's right. I'm not sure if the medical facility leases the whole parking lot.
At least the whole parking lot.
Well, here we can't lease the whole parking lot. I mean, if we could, maybe that makes sense. We'll take a lease on the whole parking lot, and everybody else can pay us money.
So I like to interject. I like to just mention some of my viewpoints, because, they mentioned about the cafe across the street. Most likely they're going to have 4 or 8 seats. They're going to be generating 2 parking spaces. You're generating 87 for the 3 banquet halls on the first floor. Second, you're allowed to continue with the grandfathered parking, even though it doesn't exist for retail. So if you went from retail to retail, I wouldn't be harping on a variance. However, when we're going to retail to banquet hall, you're intensifying the use. You're bringing more people to the site. So this is why I've been sticking to the 87 as a realistic number. In reality, they're going to probably apply for a variance for 60. Because when I do the subtraction of retail use, if it was for the first floor versus this use, it's going to come down, but they still have to apply for a variance. It's not like I could, do it as a wash. The only way they could reduce their parking is reduce the seating inside. from 87 to less parking spaces if we reduce the seats. Every 4 seats generate 1 parking under zoning. They have like 324 seats under plans right there.
So what about this solution, or just an option? Whatever the number is, 60, 90, whatever it is. They lease half from the city. They put their signs up. We pick which spot those are in the parking lot. And they lease the other half needed, or the entire parking lot. They might as well lease the entire parking lot from Montessori. On the signs that are in the parking lot, that these are, like Alderman Cazares said, between 5 to 10 p.m. or whatever the hours are. It'd be on the sign, this is restricted for affiliate. And we move on from there. Now, this has to go through the variance situation, but
And through the city
would the
with
committee be,
attorney.
when it's something in that ballpark, would the committee be something good at that? They still have to go through a committee before it comes back to us. Does that sound something that they should be able to do?
So what
with
happens
that?
before 5? What happens before 5?
Just like these other locations, anybody can park there.
So the question is this: if you're going to be leasing the parking space, are you amendable to what they're proposing? Because in earlier conversations, if you guys said you were going to pay for it, then you wanted to curtain it off, keep it for yourselves for the whole time.
Well, if we pay for the lot,
Say.
see, if we're paying for the entire lot, then of course we would charge other people to
Not the entire lot.
Just certain
Reserve
parking
some
spaces
sections
for
for
certain
you, just to
time.
get this ball moving, so you can
It's
have
not-
your parking
It's
spots.
not even a certain parking spot,
Yeah.
it's certain parking space for a certain time.
Yes.
So the question is, what's the dollar?
At this point, we're being good
Are we paying
neighbors.
a dollar
What do they pay?
or are we
He's
paying
saying,
$10?
he's saying 87 parking spots, that's if all 3 vehicles are used at one
No,
time.
no, Philly, like, the reason we're going back and forth is because we have to be considerate to the other businesses that you're sharing.
Exactly.
So
That's
this
something I
is
don't
how I feel, like, this is the, in my
I-
opinion, probably the closest solution to keep giving you what you need to get, to open and keeping our neighbors happy.
So the other,
No, I understand.
Cook County Medical Center leases the parking spaces there for a certain amount of time. It's daytime hours. And it's, the dollar amount's so minuscule, we can't even think about it right now. It's not a lot, a few $1,000s for the entire year. So it's not $50,000, $100,000 we're talking. We're not even talking tens of thousands of dollars. And they lease it for the beginning half of the day. That's the agreement. Whatever we have there, that dollar amount per spot would have to equal out here, so we're keeping everybody the same. So we can get that for you probably very easily, what we charge them per parking spot for that half of the day, and be vice versa for you, because you're getting the other half of the day at this other parking lot. It's per space.
Fred, I already sent Mr. Leufman a copy of that easement, of that agreement, like almost 2 years ago in 2018. It's 2018 is
Going
when I
back to
started.
right now, 2020.
We're 2020.
Everything was scratched out.
All right.
That's what the agreement was.
Right, so that's the agreement he's talking about, and we're
2020.
gonna have, the city's gonna have to negotiate on the fair amounts for the price. I can't share that information because it's privy to one party.
Fred just said-
Fred, what happens if I have a party in the 10 o'clock, I have a...
In the morning.
Yeah, I mean, people get married and they have banquets in the mornings also.
Banquet, football banquets, whatever.
Absolutely.
That would be part of your application. I want these spots from this time to this time. I don't think the time is the issue here, it's number of spots.
It is, because we wouldn't be in this predicament if they would just let us know in the beginning, but they told us initially that the mayor was saying that we can have part of the Metro train station.
Yeah, and again,
And I know
we don't want to
that's
go
all-
down that
we
path,
don't-
because
okay, I understand.
this council never approved even getting prices to sell the property. You know, that someone sent you off, okay? We're trying to rectify it. So right now, how's the committee feel? Just our suggestion, because they have to go through zoning and planning. Whatever the number is, half and half, they have an agreement with Montessori, they come to planning and zoning with that, and we get the dollar amount per parking spot that we're charging the other company down the town, down the same street, per parking spot. The timing, I really don't care what the time is on the signs. You rent the spots, you put your signs up, we're still maintaining the lot, you know, and then we can move forward past this parking issue.
So wait, you're telling us to rent the spots to, are you talking about the entire parking lot?
No, whatever,
dedicated
we're gonna
spot.
cut it in half, is what I'm saying. Whatever the spots is, rent half from us, get the other half from Montessori, but I'm saying Montessori, you're just gonna rent the whole thing, probably, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The whole
So
rear
now I have to
parking
rent you
Yeah.
and Montessori and the school.
That way, we can say, as elected officials, that people can still park in that lot at other businesses, and we're not taking up the whole parking space. We're not gonna get down the path of enforcement, because at Cook County, no one's enforcing who's parking there and who's not. We're just saying that's during the day, it's Cook County, and they got signs up. you know, Bourbon Street, we don't know how they enforce that. But the same thing, they got signs, it's Bourbon Street parking only.
Why? They have signs that have a little tow truck on there.
Tickets.
Yeah, that stuff we can think about solutions like
They
that.
haven't roped off two belly parking and that, so.
Yeah. Think of those kind of solutions, but I think this committee would be okay with a compromise, just so we can get past some of this stuff here. So,
So what would be the next step if we agree? Then we would get the cost from you for the parking, and then we...
and then go through this process, because you have to go through it anyway for the banquet hall end of it. But there's no issue, I don't think, opening a banquet hall at that location. This whole thing has been primarily the parking
Parking lot.
situation.
Well, but the problem is that he doesn't want to move until he finds out how much he's paying for parking.
We can get that,
Feeling is no, because that's a business
Yeah.
plan.
No.
It's too expensive to keep on.
we should be able to get a dollar amount per spot based on the location approximately, right?
It's-
Okay. I know it's not a lot of money. He'll get the dollar amount within the next day or so. What else do we got?
And then what we'll do, the next step is a text amendment?
This is going to be part of your text amendment, right? Yes. Okay. All this. And then it comes back to us to
Text
send
amendment,
it.
special use
Yeah.
parking variance. And it has to go through 2 cycles. The text amendment first. First, you have to see if the use is allowed, right? And then you could apply as a particular use, affiliates, banquets, as a special use with the parking variance.
And then, you had a question?
I've been listening to this parking situation. I want the committee and also to hear this. That parking lot over there has a specific entrance and exit. That's number one. Number two, the agreement that was with the county is totally different from what it's here. There has to be different discussions here. And I think what the chairman's trying to do, and everybody's trying to find a happy medium, a compromise, which is fine. But let's not take one lease agreement with this situation.
And we're not saying that. We're talking about per spot, approximate value. It's not going to be much different 5 blocks apart from each other.
Their responsibility over there, they maintain everything. They're redoing the parking lot, they're putting new lights up, it's all their responsibility. They're paying a certain amount of money per year. That's it, it's all to us. Everything's got to go through us, the city, because we own the property, but they maintain it completely. Here, if you're going to share, and like everybody's saying, oh, so many spots and this and that,
We have to share.
that has to be worked out, because the maintenance is going to be an issue with the rental. If we have to maintain it, okay, it's going to be totally different than over there. So that also has to be discussion with the finance, all these different committees. It's got to go through a process. So if you don't want certain information before you can make whatever decisions, I think our commissioner there has to have other process to go through to give you some sort of approximate what we're talking about financially.
All right. I'm trying to iron out some stuff. Don't give me more clothes. All right?
Father, son.
Let's find out what it is over here. It's going to be comparable. Howard's going to talk before we go. We got to talk to the attorneys anyway, make sure it's even, we can do it. We'll get that figures. You guys work out with that school, do the text amendment, and keep us involved in the process here so we know what's going on. What else we got? We able to fix your roof? Nothing?
Can't do it right now. but
No.
I agree with the-
Keep in mind, the building official is over here, so if you have any questions, this is the moment to ask, especially with the fire sprinkler. Because you had that question with the prior building official, and there was the discourse going back and forth. Right.
Yeah, that's something we can't help.
But you said in your plans, in the emails, I was actually looking today, that there was a disagreement of the plans that you have right there and how that was going to be done.
What it was is that once the architectural plans are approved, a sprinkler company comes in and designs a sprinkler system and submits their own plans. So they're not part of the architectural, just like mechanical add sheets, I would have the sprinkler system. But what happened is, when we went through architecture, we went through 3, I think, reviews, and we fixed everything the third time, hoping to get this approved, so I can take it to the sprinkler and get that approved. But at that point in time, we were stopped and we were sent back to base number 1. Instead of being on third base, we ended up being on first base.
Yeah, because Brian had talked to the architect and said, you know, we're pretty much good to go outside of just the sprinkler system. So then Howard said, well, I saw some issues with the lighting, but everything was pretty much to go. It just needs to be approved so we can move to the next phase.
All right, we all want to move to the next phase. So right now, text amendment process, we get
Special
dollar
use
amount
parking.
figures as soon as possible. They'll put an application, you can put the application in and work on the details before the meeting, because you have to do the 30 days thing or something, right?
Right, but
Let's get the-
I don't think you're gonna submit an application anytime soon. Or is it? I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything in 2 years.
You haven't seen.
Are you ready to go?
Are you ready?
We were waiting, according to our last meeting, Fred, you were there, the parking study was approved. And based on the completion of the parking study, we were gonna get the dollar amounts, we were gonna get how many parking, and what's the reason for the parking study?
Well, the parking study is gonna tell us if this is feasible. This is why I'm still waiting for the parking study.
Which we'll have very, very soon.
So, I
So
mean,
let's-
if it's feasible, let's
yeah.
move forward, but if it's not, then we're just wasting money on attorneys and whatever else.
All right.
That's why I was.
So we got to get some information over the next few days, and then you guys can apply for the text amendment.
Okay.
And then we talked about what we'd be okay with down the law, but we got to figure out the details before we get to that point. But it's probably going to look something like that, I would think. We just don't know the number. The number of spaces or the dollar amount. All right, what else? All good? For right now? Nothing's ever good, but we're good for right now?
We'll have to move forward.
Hey, smiling, that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, thank you for coming, thank you for sitting through 2 hours of testimony.
Thank you.
Who else we got in the public wants to talk?
I think he does.
Miss Brown, let's go.
Oh, you got it.
Excuse me, I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. Doesn't work.
Marketing report.
All right, hi, everyone.
What's up?
Hello, yeah. All right, so I'll make this quick. So the standard report that we look at, we, in the month of January and to date, we've added news, information, videos, job postings, and events to the website. Updated those homepage sliders, some of the breaking news tab. Obviously, the cannabis text amendment was a big item that we had put out there. The website statistics show that during January 2020, BlueIsland.org had 14,502 views, which is an increase of 20% over January 2019, and that ranks as the 5th best January since the website's inception. So if you recall, we had about a 20% increase in traffic overall last year, 2019 over 2018, so to be 20% up right now puts us in a good position to be ahead of traffic even last year so far. Any questions about that on the website? Okay.
And Ms. Brown submitted today a rough draft of the next newsletter that's going to go out, and it's going to be pretty much all about the census.
Yeah, so hopping down to newsletter, the February issue went out. The March issue we're calling the census issue, since it's something that everyone gets in their water bills at the beginning of March, and really that's when all the communications are going to be going out to try to get people to start responding leading up to Census Day on April 1st. So the entire issue is dedicated to the census. There's a nice section about counting young children, because that's an area where there are a lot of mistakes made in counting. So there's a nice checklist of how you would count young children, especially when they split time between multiple homes, and just some nice facts to try to make sure people aren't scared about the census and the confidentiality of their information, and also understand the importance of the census to dollars, representation, and a lot of things that are critical to our community. So that'll hopefully be printing and available here soon. Regarding social media, we made our regular updates to the Facebook page, and for the last 28 days at the time of this report, the post reach had increased 85%. Post engagement had seen a 69% boost over the previous 28 days, and the most popular post during that period was a February 3rd post promoting the upcoming career fair with Cook County Health and Amazon. That reached an audience of 2,389 and garnered 67 reactions, comments, or shares. Any questions about social media? Okay, any other questions at all? You know how to find me. All right, thanks,
I
everybody.
have some homework for you.
Oh, you do?
For your next, or not necessarily the next, but before spring, for your newsletter, I want to see some friendly reminders of of curbing our dog and regulations for to our dog owners, I've been receiving a lot of complaints about residents not curbing and loose dogs and animals. So, you know, nice friendly reminder of our rules, and you might have to touch base with the chief and Howard here to, you know, dictate, you know, our
Yeah.
enforcement strategy as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And we did, I think it was probably around last spring, we did put out a refresher. I touched base with the clerk's office just to kind of confirm I understood what those, what the information was and that it was current on the website. But I think it's always a good idea to touch base, and I'll definitely do that. And for the next newsletter, then it would be in that draft form that you guys would see that text. And if you had any changes, that would be the time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Before you leave, Ms. Brown, let's talk about these banners real quick, because she can relay some information properly. Everybody look at these things here in your packet. If we're okay with this design, does this all make sense?
That is,
So this came out of the Complete Count Committee. They approved different designs.
I saw it already. At finance.
So we approved the dollar amount at finance. Complete Count Committee recommended this design. If there's any tweaks, we could still approve it. Do you, as the graphic designer in-house, do you have any tweaks, Mr. Cazares?
So who's design, like who's in charge
The
of this
logo
design?
is from Census, I believe, and Mr. Brown put it together.
I would just like to see the totals quinton and every person counts a little larger, because they're going to be high up on poles. And the and that blueisland.org, it looks like there's a possibility, I'm not wrong, it might end up on the seam line. So just making sure that doesn't happen. You know, that's
Look right into the camera and talk to Kevin. He's watching right now.
All right,
Kevin. Fix
there you go.
this.
Fix it. All right. Go
Thank
repeat
you.
what you said, because I want to place this order like tomorrow. So.
Yeah, let's just increase the font size of the every person counts, and possibly just double check that the wording at the bottom won't get lost in the seam line.
Should we move it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And I need a motion to approve that. The dollar amount was approved at finance. I need a motion to approve putting the banners up out of business development district funds. The amount's $9,300, which includes all new brackets, installation, all that stuff. It's $9,300. Every other pole from 119th Street to 139th.
Motion.
So it was a motion by
6 more, that's nice.
Alexander, seconded by
Second.
Cazares. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Every word counts.
So what's the account number?
The business district account?
Yeah.
033 or whatever. I just had Pam. Pam already has this.
It's not the streetscape account number, right? No.
There's supposed to be only 2, but she sent me 4. It's not the facade grant.
Right, it's
It's
not
the other
facade.
one. The fund and the budget's only 2 line items. It's not facade grant. Pick another one.
Streetscape.
The question becomes, streetscape,
Right.
under the interpretation, streetscape is improvements of.
All right, I'm going to clarify it. Where do we pay the Christmas decorations and the banners from last year out of? The same count number, we'll pay for this one out of.
Christmas.
Where's the Christmas decorations come out of? Because it came out of business district. We approved it. So whatever the bid, that's what you can respond. Wherever the Christmas decorations came out. We'll keep it nice and simple. All these. All right, good?
Yeah.
All right. We're going back up to, that was number 9 and 10. We're going back up to 6. Resurfacing the city parking lot behind Dunkin' Donuts.
So, Eric Alvarez, like, literally dropped this, you know, like an hour before the day was over. So I do have paper copies for everyone if you want it, right here.
Please.
So I didn't even get a chance to even look at it myself. I've been busy preparing for the cannabis stuff.
Yeah.
This is the geo for the parking lot.
Thank you.
This is the report for the parking lot. Other things.
So basically what Eric said in the memo that I read earlier, they tested this parking lot, which everybody's familiar with, right?
They cored it?
They cored it, and they found the south side, south half the parking lot was stable. The north half of the parking lot is terrible. It's got voids in it. That's where it's sinking right now,
Yeah,
anyway.
you could tell.
Thank you.
So the biggest issue would be repairing that, digging out the north side of that parking lot and backfilling with crushed gravel and then re-blacktopping the entire thing. I didn't have enough time to go through all this, but we're not looking for approval tonight. We haven't gotten dollar amounts as far as I know, right? We're not dollar amounts wise, are we?
I don't think so.
No. So why don't we all review this, and at the next meeting it'll be on the agenda.
Okay.
Because we can't do anything in the
Yeah,
middle of it
our
or anything.
agenda or
Yes,
the-
ours. Because one thing is for certain, it should be cheaper than the original initial dollar amount that he threw out to us, because only half the parking lot needs the substantial work. So that's the silver lining. We just don't know what the dollar amount is just yet. So this will be tabled anyway to the next agenda, and Eric will be here to present. All right, second half of that, Eric's presentation was electronic speed monitors. Now, Eric said there's a grant that pays for all these, and we could probably add some to them.
Yes.
Federal grant.
That would be nice.
The one over there by Gordon School.
So I'm going to do the same thing with the parking lot here. In the meantime, the homework assignment to our committee that doesn't do enough is to look this over and find locations you want to add things to. I think there's parameters, but let Eric figure it out, what the parameters are that get paid. But it sounds like anywhere near a school should be covered.
Yep.
So if there's stuff
100%.
missing off the list, let's add it to the list and bring it back to the next meeting. Because if there's a free money out there, we'll take care of the free money.
Right.
So that'll be tabled to the next meeting.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
All right, so that's number 7. Number 11, we have Maple Tree Inn, Esparza's Restaurant, and the green-colored burned-out building. Now, I know Old Western Maple Tree Inn, nothing's been done as of today,
No, we have. Actually, the lady came in, she already pulled a permit for it.
but nothing
and,
physically has been done.
No, actually, I talked to her today, and she's been trying to clean the inside. She's gonna have a dumpster coming Monday, and, well, we already have scheduled to meet on site in order to
Which
ask her
place?
to.
I'm sorry, which place?
Maple Tree.
Maple Tree.
So,
So she's gonna have to remove everything that is, she's gonna remove only the building itself, but we have not inspected the building internally.
when are you guys doing, Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing is that we have a little bit thinking of, like, if it's structurally sound, we recommend, okay, but then if it's not, we're gonna have to advise her that the building is gonna be for
And
demolition.
she knows that everything on
Yes.
the city property's
Yes.
got to come down
Everything-
regardless.
Everything is coming out.
And we're not against in the future working on an agreement, but it's got to be worked out in an agreement.
Well, she
Right.
wants to buy this
Exactly,
place?
no.
She's buying it?
She bought it.
She bought it.
For a restaurant or what?
Sounds like it,
She said that she wants to remodel the building, but she wants to live in the building.
like it was before, which was residential upstairs.
Right, residential, exactly.
So,
But we don't know what kind of restaurant, we don't know nothing about it.
So
She
she just,
residential at the.
yeah, she wants to
Okay.
keep it as residential, but then she wants to, first of all, look into it, and then I asked her to give us some idea, proposal, what she wants to
Okay.
do on that one. So
I have friends on both sides, nothing has been done, and they haven't seen a car out there, parked out there or anything.
her comment was that it's been cold for the last couple of months, and, that's why she have not, but she responded when we contacted her, and she was away on vacation, but then she came back and she.
So your inspection's Monday.
Yes.
The city property stuff, that can come down because she can't rebuild any of that anyway, it's all
No,
gone.
that one, she already knows, everything is coming
That
out.
stuff's gotta move.
Yes.
We gotta show the neighborhood we're doing something, not only that, the entire city. If people come to our meetings over this last year.
We already talked to her, and we mentioned that, that she have to really comply and be able to do it, sooner the better.
All right.
And so Monday's the deadline.
So Monday, you're gonna meet with her?
Yes, we are.
What's the line in the sand? Because Brian gave her a line in the sand, and she crossed it. What's the line in the sand? Because I think we could do $750 a day after she crossed the line, or whatever. We gotta go to housing court first, I believe. But whatever it is, I wanna draw a line in the sand. You meet with her Monday.
Yes.
This city property side of it has to be done in 30 days. or
Yes,
something
that's
like
right,
that.
or less.
It's gotta be in clear as in the sand, because we gotta show that we're taking a hard
Especially
line.
the north side of the building, which
Yes.
actually, that's the one that I told her to priority.
Once
number one on that
people
one.
see something's being done, and that's the worst part of it,
Right.
that's gonna be great. Right now, they're not seeing anything being done. I'm getting calls on every other day basis from the residents that live right back there, the halfway house. They wanna see something being done.
We'll
Not to mention the businesses on the front.
We'll get her on Monday.
All right, keep me posted, email,
I will.
or we'll email the entire committee.
So,
All right, so that's Maple Street. What do we got for Esparza's? The newspapers are still in the windows.
that one, I've been trying to get in touch with, I actually literally have gone with neighbor and passed down, I put a note, a couple of on the door. I found a gentleman actually working the day it was snowing, and he was reluctant to give me information.
She
He
lives
said he-
upstairs, the owner.
Well, the guy that was there told me that he's living upstairs and she lived down the street. So I've been trying to get in touch with, no answer at all from that particular property.
All right, so when do we start finding them?
Well, we're going to be going, I'll talk to Mr. Miller, and we're going to see what, a different route we're going to go, because, I don't have much information on file, so I have to go through basically paper file to find
It's the same ordinance that Howard was here for. It's the sign ordinance. They can't cover up the windows, at the very least.
But it's not windows, they're covering, and that's more of a police issue because of the safety, remember?
All the windows covered in newspapers.
It doesn't look good.
It looks terrible.
But it's not a sign.
You can't see through the windows. I thought it was 40% can't be covered, more than 40%.
Right, but that's for signs. Here, it's more of a police issue because of the safety factor.
That's another
It just
update you need to
just
put in the
looks
sign.
awful.
Yeah.
We can actually try to get in touch and have him put the craft paper, which is also for a kind of construction type for the time being.
That's better than newspapers.
Right, so we can do that and give
Right,
him.
because if we start enforcing anything covering the window, then our massage parlor next to the dollar store also has to remove those curtains, and then the repair shop next to,
No, I get it, but they don't have newspapers in the windows. Even the butcher paper sitting at Maple Tree right now, the new location, looks 1,000%
Right.
newspapers.
I agree.
And then I know Mark Miller's looking into the green building for us, the land bank, to take the property over.
Yes, that one, the taxes are current, up to date. He was in touch with the insurance company and also was trying to get in touch with the owner. Have not been able to get on that one.
It's probably a
But,
tax buyer that's buying it.
It's already on, it's on it.
Okay,
So
all right.
I'll send you an email on the next couple of days what's
right.
going to happen on those three.
Pop top policy.
Pop top, I'm working on a policy because I'm trying to get some information on, basically because we talk about those are the bungalow type.
Primarily,
So-
Berwyn has one similar if you want to pull theirs.
Yes, that's, Chicago also has
Yeah.
that. So I'll going to draw something and then I'll pass it down along. So this way, you can be able to look into it, and if you have any suggestion, any idea, then
What we would do is, it could be a policy, half a page, and then we'll send it to the city attorney. They'll draft a resolution, and then it's on the books. That's what we did for the, what did we just do? We just did a policy on.
For the reconverting two
Oh, yeah.
to one.
2-to-1 units.
But this one only, we're talking about bungalow, Chicago side, right?
The primary issue is bungalows, but we're talking any massive,
Or historical.
outside, you can't really say historical, because the entire town is over 100 years old, the houses. We'd have to probably throw a number in there when you make this policy, if they're increasing the home size more than like 30 or 40%, or something like that, nice and generic, which would include the pop-to-top stuff.
But we don't have a FAR though, that's one thing though. We can actually work on the FAR, because right now it's vague, it's in a gray area, the floor area ratio that we have. We only have a policy right now on a percentage of building on the lot size.
Yeah,
But we don't have the FAR.
Well, that's what I'm proposing, not just to protect the, it's cosmetic stuff, but just say, if the outside, if let's say I have a house, my house, I have a bungalow, but it's bad, just any house, Will's house, okay? It's,
Don't go to my house.
It's your house, okay? It's a single-story home. Let's say he wants to put an additional story on top. It's not a bungalow. I want him to go through additional steps before he does that.
Well, that will be, that's a
You.
question. That's what
You think I
question
would?
have. No, that's a question that I have right now. We have a small, regular, not bungalow, it's a regular frame building.
Yeah.
Stick
It's
construction.
basically, they want to do a second floor.
Yeah.
But this is a gable roof, which actually what you're doing basically is just extending a little higher.
Yep.
And then put on a second floor. But
I
then
know, I've
because-
done it, it's on my properties.
So
I
that-
want to stop people like me doing
You
it.
want to do that?
So, I want to add additional step that either they come, at the very least, this committee with plans on what they want to do.
Well, that's one thing that we're asking right now, and
Yeah.
that's we're enforcing, this particular moment is like nobody, even for a trash enclosure, we're asking plans because we want to know exactly the depth of the concrete, what's going to be below grade, and we asking dimension, because, you know, you just cannot do just anything. And we're also asking, the first thing to do is a plat survey, because it's something that's been missing here in the city. People come in and they do just about anything, so we're requesting plat survey and plans for anything.
All right, but going back to this expansion, can we do a policy that is not only just bungalow specific, that it's any major increase in square footage of the home would have another step of eyes that look at it? Because it changes dramatically it could be safe, it could be legal, it could have fire sprinklers in it, but it looks like a big box on a little 20-foot lot, you know?
Yes, we can actually go and start applying, like I said, again, with the floor area ratio.
Something like that. But I would say, I'm not saying, you know...
Are you trying to preserve aesthetics?
Aesthetically,
Okay.
it's aesthetically. I don't care what the inside looks like. It's the aesthetic. And our homes, the only way outside of going through this is making every single home a designated historic landmark, which is we're not going to do. Every house in town, with the exception of maybe 10% of our housing stock, is already over 100 years old. So if we just have something generic, it's an additional step. And then the bungalows would be covered part of that anyway.
Right.
Whatever that percentage is when, you know.
Well, the bungalow, I can see that we can actually get a policy going, because actually those aesthetically wise, you know, basically.
It's very obvious when they do it.
Yeah, you cannot do anything, yeah. So,
Okay, so that's, and we don't have to make, going back, it doesn't have to be too complicated. It could even be half a page.
I'll get you that done when next week.
And then if there's a problem, we could always amend it, in case we get something going. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
What is the minimum expansion?
I haven't given an amendment, but I'd say 30%, 40%, something like
Why
that.
does it have to be a minimum? Any expansion to any residential?
No, they
commercial?
still have to go through the regular building
Right.
process, but I'm saying in the additional step outside of him going through the beginning building permits, to come to this committee, you want every building permit coming through this committee.
No.
So if I'm just adding one bedroom,
Okay, so you're saying to come to this committee.
substantial
Okay.
aesthetic, like you would know your neighbor just added a whole second floor to the house,
Mhm.
instead of just getting a permit, you know, and then we can analyze if it changes the aesthetic of the neighborhood. I know other communities do it, I don't know how they do it, you can look into it. I know Berwyn does it very aggressively, I've heard they've done it aggressively.
Yes, they do.
So, and there's been cases that brought the attention to this up Alderman Mech's ward, where they put second floors on homes that just looks like a spaceship landed.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a couple of units that I already saw there, so.
All right, thank you. So number 13, flower pots on Western Avenue. If you look in your packet, there's two quotes here. I met with Alderman Hawley about this. Me and him were talking about this for years. There's two options here. Just didn't get the pictures, did I?
I didn't get either.
I'll send them over. So these are the two options we're leaning on, which would be this quote here, total amount of
Like the rectangle.
$19,730. Basically, the numbers we have would be every single block from 119th to 135th, the business district, would get at least one of these, and most intersections would get additional, these round ones. These are concrete, they last 30, 40 years. It's the same company out of Illinois that provides, you have some at the Park District, remember those? Yeah. They're heavy duty, they weigh 700 pounds without dirt, so they don't have to be bolted down to the sidewalks. So when we redo the sidewalks,
Nobody wants it.
and no one's gonna take them. The old ones, if you remember going back, I know some of you remember, there used to be flower pots up and down Western Avenue that we removed. They like rocks, they look like from their 70s because they're from the 70s. But they're still there, like by the library, some on Old Western, because they're made from the same company. It's concrete.
We plant them, right?
Yes.
Hawley's group, we all
Not
out
the
there.
metal ones, but the old concrete ones by the library and stuff. They used to be up and down Western Avenue. It's the same company.
They're almost pink.
Yeah. So these are solid concrete, like 700 pounds, over 1,000 pound filled with dirt.
So how many of those are we gonna get?
One per, for this dollar amount. So, and we can do this incrementally. We can buy at least one per block right now and the intersections. And then if we think we need more, we could buy some. It's the same style they've had for 20, 30 years. So if we think we need more, we could always buy more. This is substantially less than the original streetscape included. Why I'm pushing these heavy ones, not only for durability and lasting, is that they're not bolted down like the ones we have now. They're very large. They're 30 inches wide. These are 48 inches long.
Are we keeping the ones we have?
Yeah, we have to repurpose those. That's something we have to talk about. Val Kehoe picked these out also. Right? And when we redo the sidewalks, hopefully in a couple of years, when we do the lighting and everything else, all we do is pick these up, move them, put them back. We don't have to take the sidewalk apart. We don't have to unbolt anything. They're not going anywhere once you put them down. So I'm asking for a motion to approve quote 229324 and to send it to Finance Committee.
Motion.
Motion by Alexander, is there a second? Second?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'd really like to have benches instead, but.
No, that's, we can do that next. We can only do a little bit at a time before you start going too crazy. But benches, garbage cans,
Yeah.
yes, we need to do that. Let's start with one thing first. So, the reason I'm pushing this so fast is because for us to actually order these and get these and have them in time for spring planting is like yesterday. So we can work on benches still, we can pick out benches, we can pick out garbage cans. That stuff doesn't require stuff to grow out of them, at least
Okay.
they're not supposed to grow out of them. So, I'll send this to Finance Committee, but basically the color that Val and Tom and we all agreed on was like a neutral grayish beige, you know. So
Not a blue, huh?
not a blue, no.
Yeah, kind of.
Not black, not
I'd go
blue.
with blue.
I can't point to a color here.
I like the
but
blue like your tie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's concrete though, and sealed for salt and vandalism, all that stuff. All right.
And the business
That being
district
said,
is from 119th to 135th.
135th, yeah.
Oh, you're good. That's two things you're giving the 6th ward. You're being nice.
Okay. Peddler's license, number 14.
So I tried contacting them. They never called me back. Everything is from Texas. If you look at all the documentation, it's Texas related. I don't think this should be approved because they haven't shown any documentation that they're a local branch. And I know how you feel about people just knocking at doors asking for donations for charitable contributions.
In the past, we've denied these. I make a motion to deny. Is there a second?
Second, too.
Seconded by Cantelo.
Second, third, fourth.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion denied. All right, last thing we got, a building department report. Howard, you got anything spectacular?
The only mention is the use. I kind of put in. I just want to clarify. So, the business license application that was awarded for A&A Midwest Rebuilder Supplies, 13033 California Avenue. This is one that I put a lot of text into it. I'll just read it verbatim. Zoning approved the business license application because it was a change in business owners' names. Basically, one owner is no longer associated with the business anymore, while the other owner retains full ownership of the business. The non-conforming use was never expired or abandoned, neither did the non-conforming use expand. The non-conforming use remains to be the same on the lot. This is the one where they take vehicles and they remove engines and transmissions and they put it in shipping containers. So this is the one that's nicely fenced from across the street from M&M's pallet company. So basically they were just going through a change of use of ownership, which triggered the business license application. So I just wanted to reiterate that, as you know, the zoning administrator, I didn't approve a non-conformity just like this. First of all, it never expired. They're just one business owner is no longer in the picture. So I just want to clarify that because the business type is auto wrecking, which we don't allow as a use today. And then one other thing, I also put here the three business development grant program reimbursement memos. This already went to Finance Committee because the people were asking for their money back. This is just a copy, you know, that I usually, you know, present to community development. And one is for cafe, restaurant in Echelon for the mural for Elias Rodriguez.
Do they finish that?
Yes,
Finished?
yeah. They closed out the building permit. His situation was unique because he put the mural and the building renovation all on one permit. So
Okay.
until the building renovation was
Right.
done, I couldn't, create the memo for his mural to be reimbursed. The second one was for Front Row Bar on Old Western Avenue. He repainted and put a new sign, which went through historic preservation for signage review. And then the third one was the Blue Island Beer Company, right? Did I get that right?
They did their chimney or something.
Right. That's what their chimney, they put 2 signs on their chimney, which was approved by you guys earlier last year, preliminarily speaking. He filled out the applications, and he also did re-caulking the area, so that also was reimbursed. So, just passing it through community development, we already went to finance. I did the check requisition with Pam Castro, so they should be paid by the end of the month. The 3 property owner, or the 3 business owner, Elias, Andrew Parcham, and then the other one is, what's his name? Alan Cromwell. So I just put that in the building permit, building report, so at least you know that's coming. Mr. Bluen's wife is, they're almost done with the final building permit review, so that's going to probably be the next one that's going to be reimbursed. I reached out to, Larry Goretta or Raymond Cantelo about the 2 awnings for the application. I haven't heard back from them. I also reached out to the other property owner. Which one was it? The one here across the street with the parking lot, next to the triangle.
Harry Zomber?
Oh, no. I can't think of his name right now. The old Tool building, though,
Right,
which is
right.
right north of the flagpoles.
Yeah.
Future Coffee House?
No, right on Western Avenue.
oh,
He
yeah.
wants to repaint and possibly put a mural on the side of the building.
Right.
That's right.
I know I missed, excuse me for a second, I missed something. I was wondering, Kevin Bluen, did we finalized the window reimbursement yet? Or?
No, we're still waiting.
You can tell it's starting to look nice.
It looks...
Right. I actually spoke with him on Friday at the counter. He said he has to still get the final inspection, so I sent him an email today. He says he's working on it. See, the procedure here, once the building permit is finalized by the building official, then I could start the whole memo process, go to community development, and then the finance committee. The other one is the one where the Maple Tree Bistro was located.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that one went. She presented everything, and then she was in the process of redoing her awning, I guess getting a better price quote, and then she hasn't submitted stuff to me yet, so it's kind of in limbo. I know they're doing work inside. This is the edible passport business.
The new restaurant.
Yeah, so it's not me stopping them, they're just going through another awning review process, because they want to put probably the logo without any words on it, like a little plane going around the earth on the main portion of the awning, which was approved here, but you can't advertise the business name or anything like that. So she was thinking about including that in the awning. So she was going to go back to the company to get the awning proposal.
I have a separate question.
Yes.
I don't know if you know the answer. Some lady came to school today to meet with me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Are there a limited how many cars per household? Is there an ordinance or anything how many cars you can have per household?
I've never heard of one.
I just told her I'd find out.
No.
Is for a single family home, how many families can live there?
That's a very touchy issue.
Okay.
The reason why, because under Illinois state law, a person could have many people considered as family. It's either by marriage, by birth, or by adoption. So older ordinances would limit to like 5 or 7 people. That was challenged, and
So
you can't do
that's
that
too big.
anymore.
we're not gonna deal with that. I mean, we're not gonna go in their house.
There could possibly be 15 people if they
Right.
prove that they're married,
That's what I
they're
told her.
related by blood or by adoption.
It's hard. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I
it's a
told her.
hard one, and it's one that opens to a lawsuit.
And then you wouldn't know anything about, handicap signs for your car or anything, would you?
Not in the
This-
public right away.
Well, this lady, she, I gotta go talk to Randy Hoyser. This lady,
Randy.
she doesn't drive, but her kid drives. And she's having a problems with the neighborhood, you know, with the people drive, it's parking, using all the parking spots, so she wants, there's a handicap spot out there because somebody died and it's still there, so she just needs to get the,
She has to apply for that.
yeah, she just goes to city
Clerk's office.
clerk's office.
Right, clerk's office, but then that person has to also provide the reason why that's being.
Yeah, so she get it from her doctor or something, right?
Right.
Okay, I need to.
But that's usually done, that's
I
usually
need to
done
want
by the
something to
city
go back and
clerk.
tell her tomorrow that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we good? Anything else?
No, I'm
guys
good.
I'm good.
We have, we have 2 presentations next meeting.
First on the agenda,
The one with Diliberto, and then
he was our biggest cheerleader, as long as you bring us something to eat.
All right, motion made by Alexander, second by Cazares.
All right.
They're not normally this late, but sometimes they're this
Oh
late.
my